Hi everyone, it's Steffi and welcome back to my channel, The Autism Soup. Today I did have a few things that I wanted to talk to you about. In case you haven't noticed, somebody else is here at the webcam with me. I can see you. And he has a haircut. Can you show them the back of your head, the reason why you have your haircut?
Bald spot.
Well, turn around and show them. So as you can see, he has an area of his hair that is missing, and this is due to one of his new
Hi, my name is Mesa Teddy.
one of his newest stimming techniques that he has been doing, or like self-soothing techniques he's been doing, is he's been actually grabbing his hair and just kind of going like this and ripping it out of his head. So we got it cut really short so he can't do that anymore, and hopefully he will adapt on to a different type of soothing activity that is less destructive. But also his hair was down to here, like lower, like to the middle of my eyelid, like, so his hair was in his eyes. So Andy took him to get a haircut today. So there's a few things that I did want to talk about. I want to talk about simple changes in your diet. I also want to talk about having a positive outlook on life and what that can do for you. And then just, I do want to kind of go over what's going on with us. So I'm going to start out with that. So with Carter, I just talked about his hair. He has been, be careful, don't knock anything off the table. He has been doing very well in school. I haven't had any more incidents with him. This is his shirt that I got him for his birthday because he likes to watch Jeffy on YouTube. So I got him a Jeffy shirt for his birthday. Are you done now?
Yes.
I think you just like to see yourself on camera. That's all that it is. Okay, so anyways, he's been doing very well in school. Maddox is going to be starting a new type of social therapy pretty soon. We have an appointment set up for him next week. I'm not really going to get into any of that right now because, you know, if it ends up not working out, then we won't be doing that. But that'll depend on, you know, what all happens at this intake meeting, if they think this is going to be good for him or not. So today I just kind of had...
Ready? Lift off. 3, 2, 1, lift off.
He's just hamming it up for the camera today, I really must say, because he's not allowed to do this on my beauty channel, so he has to take full advantage where he can and get his little videos in. Are you going to let me record now? Are you done? Okay, your eye that close to my eye is not a good look. I can't with that. So everything with him has been going good. I just got hired onto my job, so I am now a permanent employee over there. I'm not going to talk about where because all the people that are really close to me and near and dear to my heart know where I work. I don't need to broadcast that all over YouTube, and I feel like my work would kind of feel the same way. Also, Andy and I are back together, so I put my ring back on. We did some talking and decided to work things out. So, you know, as all relationships go, they're not perfect, but, you know, things can be worked on, and sometimes you can save a relationship if you're both willing to do that. And we are. So I just think our parenting styles are so similar and so strong. It's almost like our brains are on the same wavelength sometimes, where we don't even have to speak and we know what each other is thinking, like in a situation with the kids. So it's just one of those things where it's really hard to find a person that is your person, and he just completely gets me. And, you know, it's very rare to find somebody that is the way that he is. I'm a very lucky lady. I really am. Also, I just got my nails done today, so here's what they look like. Sure, maybe we'll cover that up. This is what they... Let me do it this way. This is what they look like. This accent nail, it actually is a color changing nail. So it will go to like a darker, like maroonish type of pink when my hands are cold, like if I'm outside. And then it'll stay that pastel pink when my hands are warm, because it's a mood changing color. I thought that was really neat. Because I originally just picked it and I didn't know what it was, and then they told me, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. So that's that. Yeah. So there's been a lot of things that have been changing lately, and I think a lot of that is due to a positive outlook that I have on life and that I've had since we've moved. You know, things are gravitating more towards me in a positive light. But also, we will be moving, and we're hoping to be moved April 1st. So we're going to be moving into a house that I have an opportunity to rent to own, which is, a pretty rare opportunity for me. So I'm definitely going to jump on that. And I think it'll be a good place for the kids. It's 2 blocks away from a park. It does have a basement. It has 3 bedrooms. It is a ranch style house, and I think that it's like 1,200 square feet, which isn't huge, but at the same time, for me and my 2 boys, we don't really need much. So, you know, I'd rather have a humble little home and be able to afford it than have a huge house and not be able to afford it. The collage of stuffed animals behind me is just growing, isn't it? I mean, you gotta love him.
Yes, it is.
He is very anxious right now because we were at Andy's yesterday and we're going back to Andy's later, and he has a pool in his apartment building, and Carter wants to go swimming. So he is very anxious right now because he's waiting to go swimming, but I'm actually in the middle of cooking taquitos, and Andy is off running some errands. So for those 2 reasons together, he can't swim right now, and he's very upset. Also, Carter has been very into scary movies lately. Um, I wouldn't let him watch them alone, but because I am right there with him, I do let him watch them. You know, some parents may frown upon that. You're going to drop it on the floor and then it's going to be dirty. Then you won't be able to eat it. It's a marshmallow. It's a marshmallow. So I do let him watch scary movies with me because I'm a big horror fan. And lately he's been liking the Chucky movies. So he watched with me Cult of Chucky, which, as some of you may know, is their latest movie, aside from the new Chucky movie that was made, which is completely different. It's not part of that series from back in like 1988. It's a completely different series, and it uses AI technology in there. It's actually a really cool movie. The new Chucky movie, I would suggest going to see it. They do have it in Green Bay at our library, so if you're looking for it, you can also put movies on hold, DVDs. So if you didn't know you could do that, you can go online to the Brown County Library website, and you can put movies on hold, which is what I did. Excuse me. So, but that's about really all that's going on with Carter. Changes. Are we good? I know we had a little something happen with the video. I'm going to pause. Okay, hopefully now we are back to normal. I'm hoping. You know you're going to have to pick that up, right?
Yes.
Okay, as long as you know that. So, me and Andy are back together. I am hired on with my job. I am going to be renting to own a house soon, and we are going to be moving. So those are all very big changes in our lives. But I have spoke to the special education team, or at least one of the team members, for both of my children's IEP, because they both go. What is that? Oh. So at Aldi's, they have these little penguins, which are the same as goldfish crackers, but they're penguins. And so he stuck one inside of a marshmallow. That's what that is. He's getting creative now. Now I forgot where I was going with this. So now I have to stop and think. Yes, so I was talking about the kids' schools, and they're actually going to be staying at these 2 schools because in the Green Bay School District, one is in an autism specialty class and the other one is in an autism specialty class, and they only have 2 schools that offer those, and both boys are going to one of those 2 schools. So in order to keep them in a separate classroom, they have to be at different schools, which one is all the way out on the west side of town and one's all the way out on the east side of town, like near Finger Road. Like, they're very far spaced apart, but these are very good programs for the kids, and the teachers are willing to work with me on things that work and things that don't, and they've been flexible with me about transportation and other things. So I really couldn't ask for anything better. my initial thoughts about sending the kids to Green Bay schools was they're not going to be great. You know, the referendum didn't pass last year, so they did miss out on a lot of um, what's the word I'm looking for? Their budget was lowered, so they weren't able to provide as much specialized care as Howard Swamico School District was. So I guess I was a little bit biased because of where I was living at the time in Howard, and now that we've moved to Green Bay, you know, I can see that they still have good programs here for my kids. So now I'm more receptive to letting the kids be in these schools because I feel like it's good for them. But those are the changes that we have going on. So I just kind of, can you, okay, no.
Okay.
Stop, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about first, like dietary changes because I did take a nutrition class and this really benefited me. And it's little dumb things that you wouldn't think about, but it actually did help. So I started making my own yogurt a couple weeks ago. As you guys know, I posted a video about me making yogurt with my Ninja Foodie Deluxe. And ever since then, I think I had one failed attempt because I didn't have a thermometer to measure the temperature of my milk. In case you were wondering, the temperature that you should have your yogurt at when you're letting it ferment is 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. What I use is I use a candy thermometer. This you can just, it clips onto the pan and you can just let the thermometer sit in there. You just don't want it to sit on the bottom of the pan because that's obviously going to be hotter than the liquid. And then you should get a decent readout. So ever since I've been, you know, doing that, I had that one failed attempt with my yogurt due to the wrong temperature, but I've been making my own yogurt, which has been saving me money and is also better for me, which means I'm eating more fruit because I'm putting a fruit compote in with the yogurt, which has less sugar than a regular fruit on the bottom yogurt, because I'm making it myself and I'm using honey instead of sugar. So I'm getting more fruits, and then also I have started eating carrots and celery. And when I first started doing this, I would get the baby carrots, you know, the little tiny ones. And I realized if you get the big bag of carrots, it'll last you like 2 weeks. You do have to cut the carrots like the long way in half, and then you have to cut them up in segments, and it can be kind of a pain in the butt, but it does save you a lot of money rather than buying the prepackaged little baby carrots. And I also discovered celery is usually not washed very well when you first get it. So I picked up some fruit and vegetable wash. The only place I could find it in town because I called everywhere. I called Walmart, I called CVS, I called Walgreens. The only place I could find it was at Festival. So Festival does have fruit and veggie wash. If you're going to eat celery, I would suggest using that. All I do is I open up, because it's a spray bottle, so you can spray it. But I cut up my celery and then I put it in like a Tupperware container with water, and then I dump in a little bit, like about this much of the fruit and veggie wash. And then I just kind of wash my vegetables in there and let it sit for 3 to 4 minutes. Then I kind of stir it up and then I rinse it out in a strainer, and that'll stay good in the fridge if you cut up like 3 or 4 stalks for like a week. So I really have been enjoying that, and that's also been helping with my digestive issues. For those of you who don't know, I do not have gallbladder anymore. I had it removed last summer, so I do have some digestive problems. So anything I can do to help out with that, which means for me eating more fruits and vegetables, really does help. So I've been doing that. I also take an apple with me to work, which I usually eat every day. So I'm definitely getting my fruits, and then when I'm cooking, I've been trying to add in more vegetables to whatever I can that I'm cooking. If I can't, I will make an effort to, you know, make a side of some type of vegetables. I did cream peas. I mean, that's, some people might say that's not really good for you because of the cream, but I mean, it's better than just, you know, eating cheesecake. But I did also just make my own cheesecake because now I have a cheesecake pan for the foodie. So I might do a video on that one of these times, but right now I'm trying to perfect the recipe. This one does call for a lot of chocolate because it's a white chocolate raspberry cheesecake, but I need to work on the recipe for the compote because right now it's just It's a little bit too tart. I didn't have a proper strainer last time, so I had seeds in mine. Thank you, Mom, actually, for buying me a new strainer that I can use to strain out those raspberry seeds. I'm, looking forward to using that and seeing if that helps. My phone just went off, and I'm using it as a light. So yeah, I've been trying to eat more fruits and vegetables. Also, I've been staying away from, what are they called? TV dinners. And I've been making things to bring into work, whether it's a sandwich. I also like to take a tortilla or I don't even know what they're called. It's not a tortilla, but it's like flat like a tortilla, but it's like a rectangular shape. I can't remember what they're called, but they're a lot like tortillas. Anyway, I'll take one of those and I'll put peanut butter on it, and then I'll slice up a banana and I'll roll that up. So that is another thing that I like to eat, which is another fruit and more protein. But I don't really eat a lot of protein. I do have a hard-boiled egg every morning with my yogurt for breakfast. I do carry my apple with me. I have the peanut butter from the wrap that I'm eating. But I don't really eat too much protein. I'm not really big on like beef or anything unless it's a steak. A little bit is okay, but dude, you're getting spring fever, man. You really are. Yeah, so not too much protein, but I have been eating more fruits and vegetables and trying to stay away from the prepackaged frozen things. And my mood has actually improved. My digestive system has been better, and my skin has been clearer since I've been doing those little things, which it doesn't really sound like much, but for me it is, because it's helping me out, and I am losing a little bit of weight. So, it's something that if you're just feeling kind of like your body is stuck in a rut and you need something to kind of break you out of that, those are some things you can try. But I do also want to talk about having a positive attitude, how positive affirmation and things like that can help more good opportunities come your way. So I made a vow to myself before we even moved into this house that I was really going to try to better myself and make myself the best person I could be. I told myself I want to have a full-time job. I want to be living on my own. I want my kids to be happy and healthy. I want, my life to start turning around and things to start going my way, because, when me and Andy were living together, he took care of me, but I want to do things on my own by myself and not sound selfish. Yes, we'll be watching that later. See, I was talking about this before. Not to be selfish, but just to do something on your own, it makes you feel accomplished. And I feel like at my age, there's a lot of people that are way ahead of me in that certain aspect, and I need to kind of catch up because I do have a child who's almost 10. I got to get my stuff together. I also want to pay off my credit, so there's a lot of things that I told myself I was going to try to do my hardest. And you know what? After that, I told myself I was going to do it. I left it up to God, and I said a prayer about it. And the past 3 months have been the most rewarding 3 months of my life as far as I can remember. Honestly, they really have been. Aside from having my children and meeting Andy, these past 3 months, it's just I feel like I can barely sit down and something else good happens. So I'm also going to try to get us involved in a church program that's not really as traditional of a church type program, but it does have some prayer things in there, and it's also kid friendly. So I'm trying to do all that. But I do believe if you have a positive attitude, you ask, for what you want, believe that you're going to receive it, and then you receive it. If you're not familiar with Ask, Believe, and Receive, I do listen to Kim Zolciak-Bierman's podcast, House of Kim, and she always has a positive segment in there, and she talks about a lot of these things all the time. So that was how I kind of got into this mentality of being more positive, and if something bad happens during my day, instead of getting really upset and bitter and letting it ruin my day, sit there and think, there's a reason why that happened. So maybe you got stuck in a traffic jam, or maybe the bridge was up and you were late for work. But there could have been a car accident down there, or there could have been a drunk driver and you could have possibly gotten hurt or killed. And maybe the reason why you were in that traffic jam or the bridge was up was to save you from something bad happening. So just be grateful for all those little things, because there's probably something positive behind it. You just have to change the way that you're looking at those little things in your life, like things that upset you but really aren't that big of a deal. Like
I'm gonna watch a Chucky movie after that video.
We'll watch it at Andy's house.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
But yeah, just not letting those little things like destroy yourself and destroy like your whole mood for the day. Like if you think I'm gonna have a good day, and even if something bad happens, you can still put a positive spin on it and turn it into a good day. I would really say, if you are struggling to understand what I'm saying about, thinking positive and having a positive attitude and this ask, believe, receive thing, go watch Kim Zolciak-Biermann's podcast. It's called House of Kim. I think it is a very good podcast. They're usually about an hour and 15 minutes long. Sometimes if it's just a positive segment, it'll be about 45 minutes. But it's a good thing to listen to while you're cleaning your house. If you can wear headphones at work while you're at work, or you're just, folding laundry, or even just driving in the car. Sometimes I'll use it, but I don't touch my phone in the car. I'll turn it on once I start the car and I'm parked, and I'll leave it on until I get to where I'm going. So just a reminder, if you are going to do that in your car, please be safe, because, texting and driving is a big deal, and bad things can happen, so you don't want that. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, ever since I started where I said I was going to set all these goals and do all these things, and then I really worked hard, through all these classes. I've taken a nutrition class. I'm in budgeting classes right now. I work with a caseworker right now for myself, not for my children. They have separate caseworkers for their waivers for their insurance. But I've been working with a caseworker, and just things to really benefit myself. And some people might kind of get scared and shy away from those things. I don't need any help with nutrition, or I don't need any help with my budget. But I mean, honestly, since I started doing this budget counseling, what is this? Something popped up on my screen, and I couldn't, here it is again. What, can you go away, please? I'm not sure what it is. Hopefully it's like some tech support thing, but I didn't click on anything. But ever since I started going to this budget, budget counseling class, I've actually started to save a lot of money, and that's why I'm able to move. And at first I was a little bit upset that I didn't have all this, I wasn't able to make the purchases that I wanted to, and go to the hotel with the kids, or go to McDonald's every weekend, or things like that, or shop at Walmart, and I had to shop somewhere else for groceries. And I was like, what if they don't have the food that I like? But you know what? It's okay. Things don't have to be perfect. And honestly, shopping at Aldi's, their food isn't really that bad. So I did have a bad attitude about it in the beginning, but I can't with you. You're a mess. You're just a mess. Who doesn't love him? He's just the best ever. Okay, stop. Okay. Now eat it and leave it alone. Okay, no more. That's enough having it up on camera. I'm sure everybody loves it, and I'm sure Grandma's going to love to watch this, but you've just got to chill. Once I got over my bad attitude about it, I started to reap the benefits of doing the budgeting and having money in my savings. And you know what? Sometimes I will splurge, and we will go to the hotel, or we will go out to eat or something, but it doesn't need to be all the time. I learned that I had a habit of spending way too much that I didn't need to. And when you're going to rent to own or buy a house, you can't do that. So I had to change my way of thinking and my spending habits and things like that. And having a budget counselor really helps me do that. Mind you, through all this stuff that I'm doing, I'm not paying for any of this. This is paid for by the county, and you can reach out to a local county representative. You can call 211 and you can talk to somebody and they can help you get into one of these programs if you are looking to do that. I'm not going to get into all the logistics of that. I'm just saying, if you really want help, there is help out there, and there is a way to find it, and there is a way to utilize it where you're not going to be spending all this money out of pocket. You just have to be very smart about it. And if you can't do that, there is always YouTube to show you, or the internet, or books, or plenty of things you could do. One other thing before I go, I will say that I did learn from listening to Kim's podcast is she says that she reads every day. Even if it's 2 pages, she reads something every day. And now sometimes I don't get a chance to read every day, but I do make an effort to read a little bit here and there. And I found that it's just something to keep me kind of grounded and relaxed. And it also gives me something positive to focus on. So I do really enjoy reading. Some people don't, though. If you don't, there might be something else. Like maybe it's journaling, maybe it's, painting. There's a million different outlets out there, but it's just something to do to keep your mind off of those negative things. So that's all I have to say about that. But, I'm a prime example of if you do have a positive attitude, things in your life can definitely change, because they're all changing for me. And it's only because I chose to change those things and I made the effort to do so. And I was positive about it. I wasn't like, oh, well, this sucks. I don't have this, or I can't buy that. That's not the way that it was. So we are going to go. Carter, do you have anything you want to say to your subscribers before we go?
Make sure to hit the like button and smash that bell.
And subscribe and click the bell.
Yeah?
Is that it?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mickey Mouse. How are you doing?
Honestly, I didn't even know we had this many stuffed animals, so I think this is just great because I don't even know how he found them all. I'm sure the room is a mess, but I'll be cleaning it tomorrow when I listen to Kim Zolciak Bierman's podcast. But yeah, that's just some of the things that I have been doing. This is where we're at right now with things. I am very happy with how my life has been going so far this year. And that's the end of the video. So if you like it, leave it a like. If you're new, please subscribe. And we will see you next time.
Bye!
Bye.